everybody, it's Kristen. It is time for a scrapbook process video. I was kind of poking around on my Instagram saves and I found this layout. Let me show you real quick. It was actually on the Bella Boulevard's Instagram page, and it's by Taya Smith, I think is how you would say that. And she's evidently a design team member. And what struck me is she's using these little strips here and kind of weaving them. Of course, she's got a big old nice cluster over here with a couple photos and stuff like that. But I think actually this is washi tape. Now that I say that, they're kind of talking about, did you know washi tape's included? So my suspicion is that's washi tape. I'm not using washi tape, but let me show y'all something. I have this cup with, look at all these branding strips I got, y'all. So I'm going to try to figure out some kind of way to use some branding strips. So here's what I got. I pulled out this picture of my daughter and two of her friends. This was actually, this is back in 2020. They had sent all that, they'd gone home for spring break. Y'all may remember back in the day, right? This was March 2020. They'd sent the kiddos home. Well, this is March 2020, but they'd sent the kiddos had gone home for spring break, and then they get this message, hey, don't come back, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then basically, I believe this was actually May, they said, hey, you're not coming back to school. So the girls had been living together. They'd been roommates, and the honest to God's truth is it was kind of like they got cut short from, you know, they were cut short from their senior year, but they also didn't get to do all those like goodbye things you might do at the end of a school year. And so this was the last time she saw these girls at school. Now she actually has one of them she still sees now and again, but she really doesn't see these anymore. So they were kind of sad. I mean, it was like this abrupt Band-Aid, you know, ripped away kind of goodbye type deal. So I thought that was sweet. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm sniffling. I'm still fighting a cold. So anyways, I thought that's a sweet photo. I don't know yet exactly what I'll name it. That might be, you know, last goodbye or something like that. But what I decided to do is on this layout over here I showed you, they have two, there's a two-tone, there's like a light and a pink, you know, whatever on there, so to kind of showcase those corner weaves. And I got this Vicky Booten print shop, and I just love it because it has these wood grains, and this is kind of a greenish tone, which I thought went with this grass. And then on the back side of this is this pink. So I think what I'm going to do, which I thought kind of went with this brick. So I'm going to slice this in half and flip them, and I'm going to put them on top of this black cardstock. And I'll probably have to put a little stripe of something, maybe I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to use another. I don't want to really take away from the weave I'm going to end up doing, so we'll have to kind of see. But that's my plan, and then the photo will be kind of about here with the branding strips going in here. So I'm going to go through my strip box over, or my strip cup here, because I got a lot piling up, but I thought I need to use some of these little guys. And I will come back on as soon as I've picked those out and show you where I'm at. All right, talk soon. Okay, gang, quick check-in. These are the strips that I've pulled out. Several of them are Vicky Booten, so they went with, you know, various other collections, and some of them are not. But I think with just the greens and the different colors, pinks and stuff like that, I think these are going to look so neat together, if I'm honest. And then when you put I did map my photo already, put the black photo on top of that, that's going to look really cool. Now, I haven't pulled out my tile or anything yet. You know, I do have stuff like this. I don't know what I'm going to find yet. But anyway, so I've got stuff like that in there. So I'll find that in just a minute. But and I've gone ahead and cut this in half. And I think what I may do, I don't know yet, y'all. Still, I think I may end up, I don't want to mess it up. So I'm kind of debating because I don't want to like make it look so, I think I may do the green on top. That may look a little better. I may do that. And so, but then it still looks a little strange, not finished. Do I rough that, y'all? Do I rough that up? I don't know. I'll think about that. Oh, so sorry. Saturn. All right. Anyways, let me get this going. I'll come back on and I'll get the cat out of the way. Okay, what I ended up doing was just using my fingernail to kind of curl the end of it just a hair. So it's not like it's really majorly scuffed up, but it's just got a little bit of a rough edge there just to kind of make it look like it's on purpose. So now I'm going to start putting down these little branding strips. And I do have to cut these first couple here because they're not quite long enough to go all the way across. But that is not a big deal because my picture is going to cover up the whole part, or the missing part here. So no biggie. So I'm just using double-sided tape to hold down kind of the ends of it. And I'm going to come back and after I put them all down, and I'm going to end up trimming the little oddball edges off. So you'll see me start doing all this. I think I go through a couple here and show you kind of the process. And I did use my little T-square, although I can't say I'm using like the T part. It was more just to kind of keep it aligned with each other, you know, across behind the picture. What baby? My Saturn's over here trying to love on me. Anyways, I'm going to use my little double-sided tapes here, and I'll just cut these where the picture is going to cover it up. And I think I go up just a couple more just to show you. But again, it's not like it's rocket science. It's just use me a little bit of double-sided tape, put them where they're supposed to be. And then when I was looking at the layout, initially I thought I needed to weave them kind of in and out. And honestly, I wasn't 100% looking forward to that because I was like, oh gosh, now I got to think about overs and unders and stuff. But then I started looking at the layout again. I realized, no, they just laid down the one direction all together, and then they laid the other ones on top. So I go, I'm just going to stick with that plan, which kind of makes sense because she used washi tape in the original layout. So I guess that would have been a little tricky to get washi tape over under. So I'm actually kind of happy I didn't have to do that. So here I've got all my strips down. I'm just going to trim off my little wonky edges here. My cutter acted a little bit funny, so it's okay. But y'all, I realized I kind of messed up, and I'm not going to fix it because I don't want to. But this little piece of black cardstock came out of a pad, just like basic black cardstock. And I realized when I flipped it over that I had left the little, I don't know, 1/2 inch or whatever that's supposed to have been torn off. So this is probably a tad larger than 12 inches, if I'm honest, tall. Which explains I was kind of having a little bit of, I wouldn't say trouble, but it was acting a little weird when I was trying to put my 2 big pieces down as my little top half, bottom half. And I was thinking, well, this is acting a little strange. Why am I having to have this? I trimmed it there, but anyway, I realized after I flipped it over to cut those little bandages off, the little edges off, that I hadn't trimmed my black down all the way, but I don't even care. I'm not going to worry about it. Now, what I did is I get off into my ephemera for I think it was Print Shop ephemera that I was using here, and I found this little frame. The original layout had like a big speech bubble. I didn't have any kind of speech bubbles or nothing, so I used the little frame as kind of the grounding element. And then I've got the foam I'm going to stick behind heart. And so what the title's going to end up being is Heartful Times. And the reason behind that is because in my head it almost sounds like Hurtful Times. And it's kind of, it's basically alluding to what was going on. And so it says heartful because, of course, they're loving on each other, and the title is supposed to be, I think it maybe supposed to have been positive. I don't really know. But to me, it also sounds kind of like hurtful. And I don't journal on camera or anything like that, and I haven't even done it before I took the pictures, but I'll end up adding a little story at the bottom, kind of what I was telling you guys, which is they had their goodbyes cut short. It wasn't how they wanted to end their senior year, and I mean, they were just among many, right, that suffered through some stuff. So, but the whole point is I was just going to write a little story about it. So I'm saying Heartful Times, but again, it's a little bit like Hurtful Times. Now, on the original layout, she had like an arrow going across on the bottom with some little words. I don't remember now what the little words said, but I did find this black arrow with a gold foiling on it, and it says Memories Made on the little chipboard piece I put on top, or, right above it. And then I've added this little, what is that called? A tab looking thing that says This Thing. And again, it's kind of referencing the whole virus situation. And then I did find this little deal that says Taking Pictures to Save Memories. And that's going to kind of go underneath the picture, but kind of starts the journaling in a sense. That's going to be where I end up kind of carrying on the journaling. And I'm just going through all these ephemeras. And honestly, in a Vicky Booten, you're going to have tons of these flowers. These are cool, though. I like these. It's got little black and white centers in them. And it just goes with all the colors. And so I'm just going to pull a bunch of these out. She had hearts on the original layout, and I do end up pulling in some hearts, but not like big ones, just kind of little accent hearts in a minute. But I'm just kind of figuring out how I want these flowers to go. And I do pull out a little sprig up here too. It's a blue little sprig to kind of come up and fill in some of that visual space there. So I'm going to have to faff around with these little flowers and stuff like that. And I'm going to end up with 3 flowers on the top and 3 flowers on the bottom. I don't add any florals to the right-hand side because I think, thinking at the design, you got all that pattern going on the right-hand side, so you don't really need it. So I think now what am I doing? Oh, I'm thinking about these other little pieces, but I don't put those on there. But I do find, what do I find next? I think I start pulling out the foam tape. Oh, I think I'm just messing around with these flowers again. Again, I'm just kind of building out these 3 sets here. And I was trying to pick ones that kind of complemented the green and the orange, or not orange, I guess it's peachy colors. I want them to kind of look a little different, from each other. So I'm just going to start gluing these little flowers. Oh, there's my head, y'all. Sorry about that. I washed my hair this morning, so it looks a little wet. Oh, well. I did put on some leave-in conditioner, too. I don't know if that's why it looked a little funny, but it's still a little damp. Anyways, I'm just going to use a little Nuvo glue to glue down some of the flowers. I will take some foam tape, though, and put it up underneath some of the edges, because I kind of like doing that. There's where I had left some on the glass mat there, and I go, oh, I'll just use that. Waste not, want not, right? Anyways, I'm just going to build out these little things here. I don't know why I left all this in here, except just to show you guys kind of my process for gluing these things down and kind of examining them. I do end up coming back on that top blue up there, the big little round flower, and adding a little more foam tape under the edge of it as well. I don't think I've done that yet, but as I was kind of fastening around with stuff, I realized it was kind of naturally lifting. And sometimes that is how I decide where I want the foam tape to go. When I set things down and I go, well, that looks like you're kind of trying to lift anyways. So I'll just support the lift and enhance it a little bit with some foam tape. So I do put some foam tape underneath the edge of the little, on the top up there, I have it underneath kind of the, almost actually I think every flower now that I think about it. And on the bottom, similarly, I have it on the little greenish flower, and on the smaller purple flower, I add a little bit of foam tape. I don't have any under the bigger blue purple flower there, but anyways, I'm just kind of gluing all that stuff down. Yeah, she stayed in touch with one of the girls. One of them went off and she spent about a year, like a gap year in a sense. I mean, she graduated college, obviously, so it's not a typical gap year in the sense of, you know, like after high school, somebody has a gap year. But she spent about a year, and then she decided she wanted to go ahead and become a nurse. So she went off to Florida and is going to become a nurse, and Brooke stayed in touch with her. The other one, she stayed a little bit in touch, but not as much. I think she stayed up in Oklahoma, as I recall, and I don't think they were quite as close, so she hasn't stayed as much in touch with her, but the other one she has. And I'm so grateful that she got some good friends in college. I mean, that's actually, my sister made really good friends in college, and I think that's a good place to get to know people. And you know, you spend a lot of time with them, and it's kind of your growing up years, right? Okay, so I've glued a little bit of Nuvo glue behind that chipboard deal up over there, and I'm looking back on my chipboard things again, and now I'm on the phone, I'm sorry, the puffy sticker things. This is where I decided to pull out those hearts. So I found these little puffy hearts, and I'm going to add those. I'm kind of just now, it's a little bit of an homage to the original layout where she had all those hearts. So I'm just adding a few little hearts. And then I'm going to decide, I think I do it next. I get in there and I decide, you know, I like these little circles with the foiling on them. I'm trying to add this gold. I don't really know. There's gold foiling on almost every little piece of the chipboards. Not every piece, but almost every little piece. And I thought, well, the gold's kind of pretty. And so actually, after I get these little dots and stuff, I kind of move this one around just a bit. I'm trying to figure out where he can go. I'm going to actually get up in a second and go get me some Lindy Stamp Gang gold sprinkles, because I decided with the gold foiling on all the little puffy pieces in the chipboards and stuff, I thought, you know, I'm going to add a little gold sprinkles, because she had a little bit of gold sprinkles in the layout, or not gold sprinkles, but she had a little bit of sprinkles, I think it was, and I thought that looks really pretty. So I run and got that, and I'm going to sprinkle these on here. And I like how this turned out, actually. After it dries, I'm sitting here looking at it now, and I just love the little shimmer that it gives it. And I'm just going to sprinkle around there, and that's all I'm going to do this layout after that. So I'll put this away, and I'm going to slow it down in just a second so you can kind of see the close-ups. I'm really happy with this one. If you remember, the first one was a little more, I hate these word cutesy, but it kind of was. It was like a, you know, a doodle bug, which is all a little bit more cuter. And this one is more, obviously, kind of grungy, and it's Vicky Boutin, right? So it's kind of grungy and stuff. So I love how this turned out. I'm really happy with it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will check out my Instagram at Scrapping Harden, and I'll have another video in a couple days. Talk soon. Bye-bye.